All right, today we have a green day. No. All right, we have a green day today, which is really exciting because it means I made money, but it also is exciting because it was pretty much a perfect day. I'm really encouraged by how today went because I was able to anticipate every one of the moves in the market today, and that's something that's really good, especially after a loss yesterday, to come back, to just regroup, and to say, hey, I am anticipating exactly what's going to happen based on the patterns, based on the trends. That's really exciting. So let's just dive right into it. Here we go. All right, so here we are in the window, the trading window of Think or Swim. Of course, this is where I trade in, and none of this is financial advice. But this is what happened today. And again, a really exciting day because everything that happened was I anticipated, and it worked out correctly. And for me, you come off of a losing day yesterday and you're just second guessing yourself. You're like, I lost $300 yesterday. Is this something that I want to continue to learn? Because losing money is never fun. But yesterday I did a lot of things, a lot of psychological things. I didn't trust the chart. I traded longer than I should, so I overtraded. Just a lot of different things up here that lost me money. Not necessarily what was going on in the market or the charts. So today, as I sat down with my tea, I just thought, you know what? I'm only going to trade once. I'm only going to make one trade, and I even have it on my notebook here. Can you see, right? Let's see if it says one trade. Can't read that. But that's what it says. It says one trade. It was reminding me. Just take one trade at a time. Just make one trade and make it a good trade all day, and you'll be profitable. Well, what I did then was I looked at the charts, and let's actually go over to the big chart here for just 1 second and show you what it looks like on the 5 minute. We'll go 5 day 15 minute actually. Just zoom out a little bit and let's look at the S&P 500. So what happened now, and this is like charting 101 exciting stuff, especially if you're just learning about these charts and everything. So what we've been looking at in the S&P 500 is this reversal that's been happening. So this line right here that I'll make into a different color, we'll make this into a blue color just for fun. This is the long-term line from the low in the S&P 500. It happened a few weeks ago now. I think it was like at 2100 or something like that. So from that bottom of this move, this coronavirus move, we'll call it, this is the trend line extended. And what that looks like, I guess I'll just go back 180 days. You can see right there, that's the trend line. So the market day after day has gone up and then back down, and it touched this trend line. So now you can draw a trend line. So I drew a trend line. It's that dark blue one. Now from this move here, this most recent advance that has been taking place, I drew another one. It's this thick dotted red dashed line. Okay, so remember that. Also remember, on the way down, this market shot up and tested at about 270. Okay, 270 right here. So now we're going to zoom in over on this quadrant. We're going to look at just this latest advance. So maybe I can do this with, okay, let's just look from right here. That's what we're going to look at now. All right, so now we have this long-term trend of this, since the bottom was put in. Hopefully the bottom was put in. And then we have this dotted trend line, which bounces here and then bounces here. And then we see this advance. Now, because you have 2 points, you can draw a trend line. So those are our points, 1 and 2. Now, we look at, this is what's happening over the last few days, okay? And that's what we're going to look at. So I'm going to zoom into that portion of it, 5-day, 5-minute chart. And now you can see some trends starting to appear. And this is really important because this is kind of what I was capitalizing on today, okay? So yesterday, we had the market opened and continued to scream higher. It went up about 5% it went about 5% yesterday between the close of the previous day and that open. Okay, so screamed up. And I put in this bottom and drew this trend line because overnight now, this is overnight, it meandered and it made its bottom right here. That was the low overnight. So from the low overnight, there were 2 things that happened. Number 1, I drew this trend line off of the previous day. Okay, so here's previous day low overnight. We have this trend line. We'll see if the S&P 500 will fall back down and bounce off that trend line or not. But then we also have another trend line that's set up. I'll show you what that looks like here. From that low, okay, from that low to, I think I was drawing it off of this low. So it bounced up and it touched here. And I said, okay, let's it's 2 points. Let's see if it will establish a trend line. And so I'll make this one a different color because this is an important one. Let's do a yellow. All right. Then I also, just for fun, because it's fun, I drew a trend line right here, just kind of off of, where was it off of? I think it was off of this point. Something like that. Okay, it looks a little bit different on the minute chart. All right, so with all these different trend lines and all these different things, that's important because these are the levels at which you anticipate the move. And if you go in, if the market, if the stock or whatever it is goes in accordance with that trend line, then it's a valid trend line, and then you can use that to place your orders and you can get in at a good price. And so that's why all those trend lines, very important for this. Okay, so because it's how you base your assumptions on what the market is doing. Now, overnight, we put in this high up here at 274.57. And so we're going to call that this flat top to the market at 274.57. All right, that's where it was in. We reached a point here. Let's go to the minute chart now because we're slowly zooming in. Let's go to the minute chart, see what that looks like. And you can see that that point was touched. You could draw it here with the bars closing. So in this close, you could see that it matches up with these closes. Okay, so let's just call this right here. Let's just go from the top of where the price action was. All right, because the top of the price action here is also the top of the price action on this candle right here. And that is so significant because we had trouble breaking through this zone of resistance. Okay, we did break out. It was a false breakout, which is why you have to be careful when you place, not financial advice, but you have to be careful if you put an order above this level, because sometimes you get these false blow-off tops, and then the price collapses, right? But we didn't see it stay above this level, so we know that this was going to be a retreating market. Now, where is it going to retreat to? Well, when I was thinking about this move as the market opened today, I drew in a bottom at the bottom of this last and latest move, right? Because this is the price that it fell back to, okay? After this top over here, it fell back and this was the low, and then it started another advance. Okay, so you have that advance. Now remember, we're looking at the minute chart. If I've gotten shorter as this is going on, it's because my chair is actually lowering as we speak. There we go. That's strange. Anyway, so now we are looking at our trends, okay, our trends. So we see that it's coming down, it's coming down, it's coming down, and it breaks through. I had this drawn a little differently at the time. Yeah, I had it drawn off of this line here. So at the time of this move, all I saw was that. Okay, so price goes up, hits a here, false breakout, retreats. Where do I think it's going to go back down to? Well, I think it's going to go back down to that trend line that I drew. And so there it is. There's the trend line. And what did it do? It didn't go back to that trend. It went back to it, but it didn't hold at that trend line. It shot through it because it's this triangle pattern. If we zoom out, remember, we get that triangle pattern. And so when you break through a triangle pattern, it usually screams through that if it breaks. And so I captured a trade here, and then I sold here and here just on this pullback, but then it kept going. So then I'm like, okay, where can I anticipate this move going again? And I thought, well, it'll probably be near the low put in over or the beginning of this first advance, which was right here. And it did. It came back down pretty darn close to that move, just a few cents off, actually. So this move ends at 76 and 83. So 7 cents difference, right? It's within 7 cents. That's really good. I think it's really good drawing of the trend line of the bottom there. Okay, so then what happens? Well, then it starts going higher. So it has this little trend reversal. Okay, so what I was able to do, though, after this candle was in, after this green candle was in, and now we'll zoom it a little bit more. Okay, after this green candle was in and another red candle closed, I was able to say, all right, I can draw from here to this point to this point. And that's sort of this downward zone of resistance, this resistance trend line. And so when it broke through there, look at, we had a, almost a, what would that be, from 72, where did it close? 72.28, 72.26 to 72.80, right? So that's a huge move. Boom, nice size candle there. You could have scalped that for profits. I did not, because I was just looking for one good trade and wanted to test this, and it worked out. So it comes back up, and what does it do? Well, it attempts to break back through this support, this triangle, which now becomes resistance, right? It was support, broke through support, reversal, now it becomes resistance, bounces off, meanders, comes down, and now I'm able to do two things. I'm able to draw a trend from the top to this candle, which creates sort of this this resistance zone, and then also we have a trend line that goes up, so we're forming another triangle. I'll show you what that looks at. I'll make it its own color. We'll go with pink. All right, so there's our triangle that was forming when we just had this candle to go off of, and then all of a sudden what happens? Oh, it breaks through. So now it breaks through, and it breaks back up into this triangle. And I found that it'll stay into this triangle and use it as support again. So it breaks back in, breaks through, and now it's going to use it as support. Bounces once, twice, three, didn't close in, didn't close out, and then it breaks through again. So then you can place another bet, and I placed another bet around right here, was able to scalp that move, and then we follow this downward trend, which we are actually still, where are we at right now? I don't even know where we're at right now. Okay, we're wandering around this support zone here. So you can see how in today's trades, I was able to identify the moves. Oh, the last move the last move I was able to identify was this one right here. So I'll show you where that is. I wish I could draw just boxes. I don't know how to do that, but right there. That didn't really work, did it? All right. Well, the last move I was able to identify was I thought that this trend line would hold up a little bit, right? That it would hold up, and if it didn't, that it would go down through it. So I was actually thinking that we'd see another sort of descending triangle forming, and with this trend line here, which we hit 1, 2, 3. But I thought that since it broke through this trend line, this support zone, it would bounce off of this trend line, and I thought it would either go back up and approach this again, or I thought it would go back down. And so that was also another trade I think I made right here. So I'll put a little arrow there. After it broke through right there. Okay, so those are 3 different scalps of profit. But what was really cool again was that I was able to trust the chart. I waited, and so the time in between, we'll say 8:36 and 9:01 is you're just sitting here waiting for the chart to develop, and then when you see the opportunity, you make the trade. Now, why so many shares? Why so little profit? I think that's something worth saying as well. I mean, $77.36, like that's a tank of gas in a F-150 or something like that. And the reason for that, the reason for so many shares, is because within that chart, I was having trouble. I had a few different orders that I had trouble getting out of again, and so this is something that is becoming a little bit concerning. I think the money that I'm losing on mistakes in just the execution of the trade is something that's definitely I'm gonna have to investigate a little bit more. But I'm losing some money on not getting fills on you place these stops, and then the price today went so far beyond it that it didn't get filled there either. So I lost some money there, but $77, it's a profitable day. If you're profitable every day, it's going to be, then you can build a career on that, right? For me, I'm just trying to learn how to do this, and I'm debating a major initiative with this trading challenge of mine, because this channel, after all, is not just going to be about day trading. I think day trading is fun. I really like economics and politics and charting and all that stuff, and I think it's great. And I want to sort of culminate this in like everything I know about trading extravaganza workshop thing. And you'll hear more about that if you stay tuned. But I also want to do something useful with this money, and so something exciting with this money. Maybe that's more. So more on that here coming up in the future. So anyway, it is only 9:47. I've been talking for far too long. I'm gonna continue with my other work, my other projects here, because you can do that because this is a not time-intensive form of income. But I hope you have a great day today. I hope you have a productive day today, and I will see you guys hopefully in the next video. Oh, one last thing, scale down here. It says scale. So trust the chart. Things I learned: trust the chart, make one good trade. One good trade is all you need to be profitable, right? If you execute correctly, and then scale. Why $77 is significant or not significant, right? When I put in my order for 200 shares on this one move here going down, I put in that order for 400 shares or 200 shares is what I did. Let me start over because this is exciting. If you know and trust charts enough to make one good trade a day, and you're able to make one good trade a day, then the only thing you need to do to scale that income is increase share size. So it's exciting to think about getting really good at charting, going 3 for 3 on knowing what's going on in the charts today. because the only thing I need to do difference, apart from execution of the order books with TD Ameritrade, is increase share size. So that is what's really exciting about getting good at technical analysis. And with that, I will leave you and have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care.